Welcome, everyone. I'm Spiro. Thanks for tuning in. My guest today is U.S. Senate candidate Daniel McCarthy, who is running for Senate in my state of Arizona. DemandDaniel.com is where you can find him. Mr. McCarthy, welcome, and thank you for being my guest.
Thanks for having me very much.
Now, Daniel, you are a Phoenix area entrepreneur and a successful businessman, and this is your first time running for office. Tell us, what made you decide to take on this campaign and run for Senate?
Well, a lot of it had to do with this particular race. I had been watching Arizona politics for a long time as a donor and as an activist. It was kind of a hobby of mine just to try to get involved. If I found a good candidate, I would try to get behind that candidate. This race, I'll back up the audience to kind of catch you up to speed. Martha is the current senator. She was appointed to this seat after she had lost the other seat. The person that appointed her, obviously, is our governor, who I have a lot of problems with. We've been infiltrated. The Republican Party had been infiltrated for years. And long story short, in 2018, when Martha was appointed to this seat, after she had lost, because John McCain died in that time frame. So basically 2 Senate seats. She lost one, and then she was appointed to this one after John McCain died. I said, boy, oh boy, that looks a lot like a banana republic. And I started to dig into the details, and I started to look for someone to run this race as a donor. So it started off actually as I was looking for someone to run. It kind of backfired because all those people were like, we want you to do it. We want you to do it. And then it kind of snowballed from there. Politics has always been something that I've been involved with behind the scenes. I'm just one of those guys that you can't find good conservatives. You can't find good constitutional people. So what I would do is I would always try to encourage, candidates to get in, and it's just it got to that point where I realized that we were about to lose another Senate seat, and I could not stand losing our home and losing Arizona, because that's what it looked like was about to happen before I got into the race.
Now, as you point out, you're running against sitting Senator Martha McSally for the GOP Senate primary coming up in early August. And as you pointed out, she was appointed by Arizona Governor Ducey, not elected. She was also the colonel in the Air Force, and she was the first woman to fly in combat and the first to command a squadron. She's also received President Trump's endorsement. So the question is, why should people support your campaign instead of your opponents?
Sure. So Martha is the antithesis. She is the pinnacle of what's wrong with the Republican Party. I appreciate her service, her military service, but that does not qualify you to be a United States senator, and by no means does that discredit anyone's military service. But that's not enough just to say that you have a brand. That doesn't get you to be the best Senate candidate for the seat. Also, when it comes to the president has to deal with Mitch McConnell. The president has endorsed John McCain. The president endorsed Paul Ryan. The president endorsed Mitt Romney. So the president's endorsements, frankly, mean nothing in terms of a Senate race, because he has to do whatever he has to do to get through Washington, D.C. I don't hold that against him. Why someone should not vote for her and vote for me is because Martha is a career bureaucrat. Martha is someone that has the most liberal voting record in the House. She voted yes on Obama spending. That's right. She voted yes on Obama spending. She voted yes on funding Planned Parenthood. She voted yes on she has voted yes on expansion of the Department of Education, SB 1177. She actually voted to expand the federal Department of Education. Her solution to every problem is more government. She's actually the first ever Republican socialist. I mean, that's what I call her. She's the first Republican socialist. With me, in contrast, what you have is you have a strict constitutional conservative. I am not there to do anything but reduce the size of the federal government. I want to increase individual rights, individual freedom. I'm never going to come to you and say the solution to this problem is a government program. I'm going to come to you and say the solution to this problem is getting the government out of the way. So there's a huge contrast between Martha and myself. The best way I can explain it is that Martha is a global pawn. Okay, she is a globalist pawn, and she was mentored by John McCain. Those are her words, not mine. I am a outside conservative. It doesn't get any more different.
Now, Daniel McCarthy, candidate for U.S. Senate, I think it should be pointed out, it's notable to point out that President Trump did endorse McSally, your opponent, before you entered the race. So there wasn't really an option to even endorse you at that point in time. Now, will you have an opportunity to debate your opponent before the primaries?
So this is what's most disturbing about this race. I've done over 70,000 miles across this state. I have talked to tens of thousands of Arizonans directly, just like literally live, right? So it's interesting to me that Martha has craftily avoided debates. This is the same thing she did in her previous primary when she won the primary in 2018 against Kelly Ward. She avoided the debates, and Kelly Ward, by the way, was so outspoken in regards to Martha gaming the system. DC money came in and basically propped up Martha McSally to make her the establishment candidate. So what was interesting is that she, yes, avoided the debates this time around. We offered her actually $25,000 to the charity of her choice to debate. And we also we tried at one point. We were trying weekly. We would call or reach out to them daily at one point, and we got nothing. So it's unfortunate, but Martha has yet again avoided debates with her primary opponent.
Now, was it just no response, or did they cite the pandemic, the coronavirus, as you know? I mean,
no. At first, it was. The first thing we heard from them was, well, you've got to be on the ballot. Once you're on the ballot. Well, we were on the ballot 3 weeks before they were. We actually had so what was interesting was there was a period of time where I was the only Senate candidate for the Republican Party, and she wasn't even on the ballot, okay? Once we were there, we were like, well, can we debate now? We'll debate you even though you're not on the ballot. And then after that, it just went dark. They just wouldn't respond to us. And she was just asked about it today. There was an interview today that she was on here in Phoenix, and she was asked about it. And she said she has a script that she follows. You know, I have the president's endorsement, and we're focused on the general election. Very disingenuous, very presumptuous, and frankly, downright wrong for the process. I mean, she's a listen. I mean, I'm not trying to. On Saturday, that was the first time I seen her. Okay, so on Saturday, she heard me speak, and I blasted her, okay? I mean, I know her voting record better than she knows her voting record, okay? And I went through one by one in front of this crowd of a couple hundred people in an outside picnic, by the way, okay? This is an outdoor picnic. So I sat there with the microphone, blasted her for a good 5-10 minutes. They took the mic away from me, and she got up after I was done speaking, and she didn't say a word about all the things I just said. I mean, it was so awkward because she came up, she took off her mask. She's the only one in this outside picnic with a mask on as her and her team, okay? And she takes off her mask and talks for 20 minutes and blabbers on. Of course, the establishment doesn't stop her from blabbering. And she didn't say one word to refute what I just said. I mean, you got to be a cold person, man. Like, you got to be it was so awkward because if you said that to me, like if you were running against me, and you went on blast on me in front of all these people, I would grab the microphone. I'd be like, this is where you're wrong, and I would go after you, right? So it's really, really weird, man. It's a very strange situation.
That is strange, and I think that the voters deserve to have that debate. They deserve to see the candidates go up, at least have a debate and discuss the issues at hand. Now, Mr. McCarthy, the response to the coronavirus pandemic or the outbreak has dramatically impacted millions of lives here in Arizona and, of course, around the world. Now, for weeks now, it has been reported that Arizona is one of the hardest hit places in the country and in the world. And like most around the world, Arizonans have been on lockdown for months and months. Many have lost their jobs. Kids have been out of school for months and months. What has it been like for you and your family going through this, living in Arizona? And what is your view on Arizona's response?
Okay, well, what I'll tell you is that this is a manipulation of numbers. We are being attacked right now from within. You have government officials that are using this situation to funnel federal funding, and they are breaking the society down. They are literally Marxist communists that are breaking our society down from within. And that's just the cold, hard facts. We're in the middle of a war right now. And unfortunately, not enough people have woken up to the fact that we are in the middle of a war. This virus was used by Marxists to crumble our society, and they are consistently working on it day by day. As far as the response goes in terms of it affecting me, it hasn't affected me at all. I will not put a mask. I will not put the government on my face. I'm not against someone doing that, by the way. If you want to wear a mask, feel free. You can wear one to bed if you want. But they're disgusting. Okay, there's no science. I mean, you see these people grabbing the mask with their face and then touching food. And listen, folks, this is a farce. The mask it's a submission ritual. That's what they're doing. They're getting Americans to submit, and they're using the good nature of Americans because Americans want to help. Of course, Americans want to do the right thing. So they take advantage of that where Americans are saying, I'll do my part to help. And they're using that to bond them and to actually put them in bondage. It's sad to watch, and I won't stand for it personally. So when they started shutting down our churches and started shutting down our businesses, this was back in March. I started protesting, saying, no, this is not good. I could tell that the numbers were skewed right from the beginning because by the time they started shutting us down, half the world's population would have been infected with the virus based on the numbers that they gave us. So I'm just a business guy, right? So I just reverse engineered the numbers, and I said, this is not right. I'm not saying the virus isn't real. I know the virus is real, but the virus is not going to affect people the way that they think it is. It's a very actual, in all actuality, it's actually much less than the flu in terms of its severity. And it's something that, unfortunately, the government has used to manipulate and steer us a certain direction. So for me personally, I won't allow it to affect my family. Luckily, my kids are already homeschooled. So we've gotten ourselves out of the school system because the school system is so bad. And I can say that I have not canceled one event. We've had to reschedule a bunch of events. Of course, some organizations have canceled their events, so we had to do a lot of rescheduling. Here's my suggestion to everybody. Just look at the math. Talk to the scientists, talk to the doctors like I have, and you'll find that there's something more going on here. And unfortunately, it's not a good agenda. This started as a 2-week slow the spread in March. We're in July, and now businesses are going cashless, and they're requiring you to wear a mask to come in their store. Folks, this virus is so widespread, you're never going to contain it. All you're going to do is make it stronger at this point. So that's I could go on all day about this. This is dangerous times.
Well, it certainly is, and it doesn't help when you have the media and other politicians, other people within government, like the mayor of Phoenix, spreading fake news, being caught red-handed in a lie, saying that the Phoenix morgues are so over capacity that they're having to bring in refrigerated trucks just to handle and manage all of the bodies due to the virus. And, there's another point here with local politicians, about, for example, Governor Doug Ducey sitting on the board of governors of an institute that is accepting state health department funding to conduct coronavirus testing here in Arizona. And that institute also happens to be an affiliate of a nonprofit that's working to develop a coronavirus vaccine. I mean, do you see any potential conflicts of interest there, or is this just business as usual? And one other point I'd like to add is, what is your take on hospitals receiving financial incentives essentially for COVID cases and COVID deaths?
Yeah, so we're literally watching Kate Gallego, the Phoenix mayor. She's a card-carrying communist. She has hatred for your country. As far as our King Ducey, our governor, Dirty Doug, this guy is a tyrant. He's a mobster. It's organized crime. What they're doing is they're funneling federal dollars, and they're using authoritarian powers in a way that I've never imagined people getting away with. So not only do I see a conflict of interest, I see a clear, frankly, insurrection. From a legal standpoint, these guys have big consequences on their hand here. The truth will come out, and I have to tell you that I think that these people are in a lot more trouble than what they even realize. So these are tyrants, and they are basically inspiring, and they are funding and facilitating crumbling our society from within, and the consequences could be very grave for what they're doing. As far as the board and the money and all that kind of stuff too, I want to say one other thing about this. When whistleblowers are coming to me in fear of their life, and telling me things like, for example, every death certificate that has coronavirus has a laundry list of other ailments, or the fact that hospitals on the border are dealing with Mexican citizens that are not United States citizens coming across, and their hospital beds are the COVID units are half staffed or sometimes down to a third. So when you're seeing this surge in hospital like capacity, what you're actually seeing is manipulation of hospital beds. So you've got literally a very sophisticated system that they've been working on for a long time. And this is not a conspiracy, folks. This is all out in the open. So I think we're living through times where justice will be served. I don't know how, but I hope it starts with me winning this race on August 4th, because I can tell you right now, I'm going to be asking the governor to resign from his position.
Mr. McCarthy, I know you have a busy schedule. I just have a few more questions for you. What will be your top priorities should you win that seat?
The first thing we're going to be fighting for is national reciprocity. Gun owners should not be afraid to carry their firearms anywhere in this country. The Second Amendment is very clear. It's a part of our Bill of Rights. It's a God-given right, and it's gone on for far too long that the federal government, has been chipping away at gun owners' rights. So I want to put everyone's name on the line and see where they fall when it comes to national reciprocity for gun owners. The other thing I would love to see happen is I would love to start working on unwinding the entanglement of our state governments from our federal government. Our federal government has become way too big. So I would love to start hacking away at government agencies and government programs that shouldn't be there. Unconstitutionally, they're there. So what you're going to find with me is you have someone that's going to make Rand Paul look like a leftist. Okay, I mean, I'm going to go to Washington D.C. to start mobilizing the American people around the idea of limited government, personal rights, personal freedoms. So I think from a priority standpoint, you take a look at organizations like the Department of Education, right? There's no reason in the world that the federal government is involved with public school. None. The spending is out of control. We've got to decrease the size of the federal government. So, and then the last thing I'll say about what I'd love to start doing is shoring up our manufacturing into the United States. This is something that I know how to handle. I have firsthand experience with China. I know what we need to do in order to make it to where companies can actually move their manufacturing back into this country. Arizona is a great example where between Phoenix and Tucson, we have this stretch of land that should be the manufacturing hub of the world, and every state should be able to compete to get manufacturing back here. I want to create the fourth industrial revolution in this country, and I think that if you have one senator that starts really pushing this, we can win this war. But it's gonna require the fortitude and the spine to get it done, and I don't see anyone out there that has it.
Now, Mr. McCarthy, you hit on some good points there about the federal dollars, and how they affect our education system and a whole range of other things that most people have no idea that we get federal support for, but that comes with strings attached. I don't know that a lot of people really understand that. Those federal dollars come with strings attached, and I believe that the states should be as independent as possible, as this country was designed to be. Now, real quick clarification as far as the Fourth Industrial Revolution, you just mean bringing back like manufacturing back to this state and this country, because I know that a lot of my viewers, I have been covering the World Economic Forum's Fourth Industrial Revolution, which has to do with a new economic model that they're trying to impose globally and usher in like a transhumanist type of agenda to merge man with machines. I know it sounds crazy, but that's what the World Economic Forum themselves are saying. So just to clarify.
Well, yeah, I'm glad you set out clarification for that. Yeah, no, when I guess a better way of phrasing it is I want to see American self-reliance. I want to see Arizona self-reliance. Arizona should be able to maintain its own population with its own goods inside of their state. And the same goes for all of the United States. I want to see the United States become self-reliant and self-dependent. And I want to see that I'll give you a great example. A lot of people don't know this. Lead for our ammunition, lead for our bullets, you can't even get in the United States. There are so many things that we can no longer mine or manufacture here in the United States. And I want to do everything in my power as a senator to stop that from happening so we can get back to being self-reliant as a country.
It's very important strategically as well, because if you have other countries that are controlling, the source of products and of industry, I mean, they can hold you hostage and they can use it as leverage. So, I mean, this is just basic stuff that everyone, I think, should be able to get behind and support. Now, I would like to thank you, Mr. McCarthy, for being my guest today. I have never formally endorsed any politician, and I'm not about to start now, and that's mainly because I think it would be unethical for me as a journalist to side with any political party or politician. But I think many of my listeners in Arizona will like what you've had to say here today, and I do like and respect the fact that you are engaging with the public. And with that being said, would you have any final points that you'd like to share or a message you'd like to get out to the voters from the campaign?
Sure. This is the most critical election of our time. Every election cycle heats up. It's getting worse and worse. The war that we're in is the most complex and sophisticated war the United States has ever been in. With me, what you have is you have someone that's extremely aware of the war that we're in, including, for instance, like you just described, how the global apparatus is trying to create an environment where there is no sovereignty, country sovereignty. I'm very aware of the war that we're in. It's time that you send someone to Washington, D.C. that is going to have your voice. My job at this point is to make sure we do not lose this Senate seat. Unfortunately, my opponent in the Republican primary mathematically will not win. So what that means is that if she is our Republican nominee, we will lose another Senate seat. In Arizona, for the first time in our history, will be radical blue. We will turn into the panhandle of California. I'm asking for your vote. I'm asking for your support because I will win against the radical left agenda. When you send me past this primary on August 4th, what will happen is I will beat him badly on August 5th. We will win and we will reserve that seat. If we do not win this seat, we are telling that global apparatus, that global communist one world whatever, okay? You've got China, you've got Russia, you've got all of the communist governments out there that are going to be saying that the home of Tombstone, okay, this is Arizona, is ready to negotiate on their gun rights. That's what it means if we lose this Senate seat to the Marxists that on the left waiting for Martha or myself. I'm asking you to go to demanddaniel.com. You can see all my platform. You can see all my positions. We have done thousands of interviews, thousands of talks around the state. I've done 70,000 miles across this state. We have done everything in our power to earn your vote. My conscience is clean. I can look at my children in the eyes and say I did everything in my power to fight back. And we will continue to fight. I look forward to serving. This is a great opportunity. And by the way, the last thing I'll say is I'm not taking the compensation and I'm not taking the pension to be your senator. I'm doing this because I want to give back to our country that has given me so much. I want to return this country to my children the same way and better than it was given to me. So I hope you for your support. Thank you for the interview very much, man. Really appreciate it. Thank you for all that you do. Keep on growing.
Well, Mr. McCarthy, thanks so much for your time, and I think there's a lot to be said for that. I mean, especially, for everything you said, but especially about in regards to the pensions and the salaries, because we see these career-long politicians getting in there and just enriching themselves and being in that incestuous revolving door with the lobbyists and everything like that. And they go in to government broke and they come out multi-millionaires. And, I will also say that I do hope that this inspires people to be more active in their communities. If you see something that's going on that you don't like or you think is wrong or that should be challenged, then step up or encourage those to step up and support those who do to challenge the system. And it doesn't have to be running for Senate, for example. It could be running for your school board or your city council. There are many positions that have an impact within your communities. And, that's all the time we have today. Be sure to share this video. Thank you very much for your time. Daniel McCarthy, that's demanddaniel.com. Good luck with the campaign, and I look forward to speaking with you soon.
Thank you.